Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, make a video. Probably get these posted up over the next couple of days. Currently making these recordings on Monday, but I think I'm going to have them scheduled to go out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Do a new key every dungeon, or a new key every day going over. So I've got three that I'm going to go over. First up is going to be Operation Mechagon. This is actually, in my opinion, one of the simplest dungeons to do. Um, Outside of the first boss, most everything is pretty straightforward, pretty easy. But I did want to go ahead and break it down because I do see a lot of groups that kind of struggle with this key. I think majority of it is just the damage output at different points. So go ahead and start this up. Let's see. All right, so very beginning, you have two different options as far as the pull goes. All right, so once we get down here, I'll show you what I use for pugs is what I'm gonna do in this. But if I have like a coordinated group that I can talk to, and I know that like we're gonna be fine, what I will do is I will kind of come. So with a coordinated group, what I'll do is I'll grab this group right here. I'll grab this group right here. I'll grab this group right here, and then I'll chain them all into this one. Okay. You have to have a coordinated group because one, the DPS have to be incredibly careful not to pull off of the tank. The healer has to be able to keep up with everything, and as a tank, you have to watch and see if you lose anybody. Now, what I did in this run and what I think is the easier option is you just pull these two groups right here, this first one here, and then I like to do a death grip into this, but you can do a taunt, anything like that. Get this group over there, get everybody combined together, and then we'll go over and do this. Now, had I have known what this group was about to do, I definitely would have just pulled all four. But yep, you can see I get that pull, and then I get that pull. And then I've got everybody stacked up on me. I'm popping out my defensives. I let my cheat death go off just to make sure that I'm good, give my healer a chance, and boom, from there it's literally just mad murdering everything down. And you can see like we avoid the blades going around the room. That's the other hard part about this room. All right. So let me get a better angle. All right, so on these little cracks and everything, there will be little spike blades, saw blades that go in circles and then they'll like come down the middle. You have to avoid those, otherwise they're going to hit you. You'll take some pretty good damage, and then you'll also get hit pretty hard with a knockback, and it can actually screw you up. Okay, so then we're going to go into this group. We're going to pull on that group, and I don't think I did a very good job explaining I was going to get both of them because, like, you see, I lost. I lost like half the mob. And if you watch me, like I'm trying to avoid all these swirlies and get hit by the saw blades. So like it's kind of a tricky one, especially when you have that many bombs going off and like you got to be able to keep up with everything. Having that warrior there though to like stun the mobs like that was great. Like if you have stuns and stops and stuff that you can do on this group just for the sole purpose of making it easier on your tank, that is in my opinion the best way to do things. Yep, there go the saw blades again. Boom. All right, so now you have this boss. Okay, so here, let's pause it. This boss is pretty much the one that you're going to be tanking. This boss is the tank is just going to run around the room. He's going to charge on different people. You want to make sure you keep threat on him. You want to keep aggro on him, like you're good to go. All right. And so, like, what I like to do, very beginning, I come back in this little corner because this guy, he's got to get hit by these hammers. I want to say he has to get hit 3 times, 2 times, or at a certain point. Honestly, I don't remember exactly, but I know that like you want these to be hitting him. So one of the reasons why I really hate this boss is because like he will move like right on top of you and he doesn't get hit, and then you're like, oh my god, and then it resets. See, I got hit by the charge. I'm not even gonna lie about that. And we unfortunately we lost our Death Knight very early in the fight, and I wasn't like I was trying to get him up, and I was trying to do what I could to get him up, and then like I had to pull defensives, and I was like, oh no. And then we had the Void Emissary. Yeah, that was annoying. But I want to say I did get the Death Knight up. Yeah, we got him back up. And see, he gets hit by the hammer. I'm gonna have to, really gonna have to look and see like what it takes to stun that guy because so after he gets hit with a hammer so many times, he literally gets stunned. and it basically is like a damage stopper. And don't run into the mines. Yeah, I think it's like maybe during one of his casts or like to stop his cast. I don't really remember. I just kind of like keep whacking him with it until he stuns. It seems to work, but like I absolutely hate this boss. Like this is the worst boss. See, yeah, you can see we get hit with the charge. Like we were not. Yeah, this boss is incredibly terrible to do in my opinion. I don't like it. I've never liked this boss. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're doing. Is you're tanking around the side of the room, and as soon as you see the sparks and everything's flying out, that means he's been stunned. Then you can stay in like we had our Spirit Link Totem, so I stayed for the Spirit Link Totem. And then as soon as Spirit Link Totem was done, like I left. Like I just pulled them out, and you just keep going around the room, and like that is this entire fight. Like you watch the swirlies, you watch the bombs, you watch like the charges. Like it's it's not fun. Okay. So now we've seen this boss. After we get them down finally, um, we take our little sewage path. We go all the way down. Now there are a couple different ways to do this little hallway. I've seen some people that like to go and they'll pull the whole hallway. If you have a coordinated group that can do that, that's fine. What I like to do is I like to grab this guy right here. So I'll get thread on him, and then I just kind of like run down to usually pick up that other big guy, right? So this other big guy right here is really what I'm going for. I didn't end up pulling him right out the gate because I couldn't like target him because I had to stay alive and I had to do other things. I did tank things. So I was like, okay, well I can't really pull him. So then like after we started getting people down and whatnot, I think I just kind of like backed up into him. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So we got him. I don't know if somebody in the group pulled. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, we ended up getting him. And then after this trash goes down, we literally just pulled everything else in the hallway. Okay, so let me go back 10 seconds. All right, so they're down. Throw a Death and Decay there. Pull this group. Get aggro tables. Get defensives rolling. Get everything going. And like he's just running across here. He's gonna come up there. I'm just gonna throw a taunt on him. We got the stuns going off, so I can get aggro back on everybody. After I get my aggro back, I'm just like vibing. Like we were just murdering everything. So after that, we kill this one. I had to ask the healer if they were good on mana, and then we're like all set, ready to go. And I think we just took on this one group because the bleed dot from the other one plus this trash, like it can get a little gnarly. I don't know why I didn't pull that third group though. Like that's super weird. So what I used to do in this here, let me back up a little bit so you can kind of see the whole room. All right, so what I used to do for this whole room right here. All right, so I used to just run around. I used to grab the whole room all at once. Well, now that I'm starting to push into higher keys, pretty much anything past a 6, you can't really do that unless you're like massively overgeared and it's like, oh, we're gonna do a homework key. So what I like to do is I'll pull kind of half the room and I'll pull the other half of the room. So like for sure, every time I'm always gonna grab these 2 packs. I'm always gonna grab these 2 packs, and I'm probably gonna grab this one. All right. So essentially, the reason being is because it makes it super easy to clear them and it doesn't get out of control. Obviously, as I go higher, I may have to change that strategy a little bit. But you can see, like, you saw this one, he like jumped over and hit somebody. But like at the same time, like I also knew that I mean my healer was cranking. I mean, if you look at this, like 1.87 million, like, come on, man. So the healer was cranking, the damage was cranking, so I knew I could get away with a little bit more in here, and that is always significantly more helpful if you can. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, I just woke up. So it gets it significantly easier. So I took the Pather out of that group, and then I've got these 2, and I'm going to grab those 2. And then this is going to be a smaller one. Now, essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to minimize the amount of damage going out and the amount of bleeds that are going to go onto people. I actually, on my tanks, I don't track dots that go onto other people, but I track what goes on to me. So it's just easier that way. All right. So that's pretty much how you're going to handle the trash in this room. Let's go. Go back. All right. So this boss is super, super simple. So initially, you're going to pull him. All right. This is the very beginning. We're just going to damage him down. Then there's going to be like this crate that drops. And you want to go, okay, so now he's fixing to start casting. All right, so he's doing his vent flames. So if you're a Death Knight, you can AMZ a little bit of that damage and be okay. Um, Normally, you're going to want to keep him close to this. What I usually forget on the very first pull is he doesn't do his charges. So here in a second, he is going to mark. Okay, so yep, so we got that. All right, next he's going to mark these three. Okay, so when he marks these three players with the explosive leap, all right, basically he's going to charge at them and he's going to, I want to say it's group wide damage that he's going to do. I can't remember if it's single target or group wide, but you need to have a defensive ready for this. He's going to charge the whole group, and then he's going to start doing his venting flames again. After he finishes the charge, the tank wants to get on one side, one of any four sides of this, and pull the boss there. Okay, so he's going to hit. Okay, so it is, yeah, it's not group wide. Okay, so really what you want to do now is you want to be moving him over there. I'm not sure why I didn't. Honestly, I'm not sure. But you want to move him over. That way your group has a clear area of like, hey, go here, don't go here. I think I did it maybe on the next pull. Let me see. Yep, there we go. Okay, so yeah, so I backed up over by it. They all spaced out. And then I just kind of backed up and put my wall against that crate. There you go. And you can turn your mouse so that it doesn't do that. But that's essentially what you want to do every time. Um, but you need to be careful that tank dot, that does make you explode. It's pretty cool. And then that's pretty much this entire fight. So we'll skip through, you go up the ramp, and then you get to the top of the stairs here. Okay, the easiest way to do this is like just run in and just throw an area AoE down. The ones that are going to attack you are going to attack you. The ones that are not, they're gonna run away. Like it's not hard. Yeah, I threw my A bomb limb down and popped cooldowns for this beginning part. Usually I'll save it for like phase 2 or the second part of this. So okay, so this back up. Everybody's coming in. Where is it? Okay, so when this hits the ground, all right, this is an explosive squirrel. It will kill you. Don't stand in the blue. All right, you got to get out. Yep, the anti-personnel squirrel, and you just run out of those. All right, make sure on these Tinkertons, you're that gigawatt. Make sure you're interrupting that. Like that is super important. Wow, I'm yawning a lot today. All right, so it's super important that you do that and that you get that done. Now we killed the first set of ads. Now we gotta wait for the next group. He summons these three guys or spawns in these three guys, the defense bots. I mean, pretty much you're just killing these guys. I mean, there's not a whole lot to them, I don't think. Memory serves me correctly. And yep. So those guys down. Then we kill the Void Emissary. All right. So this guy is actually pretty interesting. So he only has two mechanics, right? He's gonna shoot those lines out that'll hit you pretty hard, and then he goes into a separate phase. There it is. So he goes into the front, and he does like this electricity on the ground, and you have to stand in between these two bright white lights. Let's see if I can get a pause. All right, so this line here and this line here, this is your safe zone. You can tell like the whole rest of the ground is blue, and then this is not. Basically, what's going to happen if you don't stand in that is you're going to get like a 5-second stun on you. It's not too crazy, but like it also can mean that you die because you get hit with that line, you get hit with another line, you get hit with another. and then afterwards, like you get hit by the lines, and then after you get hit by the lines, then you're gonna get hit by his beams, and then you're screwed. So this is the group killer, okay? So when you first walk up, you're gonna run in, you're gonna go on what I have found the best way to do is you're gonna go on the side, up through here, all right? Get onto this, and then you want to wait to get an opening to this next gray spot, all right? And then you go here. Now, if you wait long enough, this guy will go up, this guy goes up, and that guy paths around. You can come straight to here, and then you just wait for this guy. See, he's going to walk right past us again. He's going to completely ignore that we exist. Once we're out of his little circle, then we can go, and we just run straight on. That is the easiest and best way that I've found to do this. However, nothing ever goes according to plan, so like it's always a little bit more difficult than that. This group. All right, so there's a lot going on with this group right here. I did not wait for our DK to get up here, and I think that was a huge mistake on my part. All right, so you've got the Giga Wallop that's going off. Then you also have shields that are going off that you have to get people out of. Okay, so as a tank, like you are constantly kiting this group, and if you have like a way to group people together, it makes it so much simpler, and you'll see why. So I threw down my Death and Decay. All right, so we've got the interrupt going on the Tinkerton. We've got the mechanics. All right, that is something else I forgot. So you've got the Tinkertons that are going to be doing the Gigawop. Then you've got these mechanics that are going to do tune-up. And what that does is it heals these defensive bots, right? So there's the squirrel that goes out. But those are, I mean, those are just run out of circles. So, okay, right here, this yellow beam right here. All right, there are two ways that I've seen this done. I've only seen one of them done in the War Within. So pretty much what you want to do is you're going to run in and you just kill this thing as fast as you can, and then you run back onto the ads. Nobody's doing that in the War Within from what I've seen. So pretty much what everybody's doing is having the tank is just being responsible for moving people out. All right, so if you don't have a grip or if you don't have a way to do things, if you don't have grips or if you don't have a way to do things, you are solely reliant on your group to interrupt the ads and to run a constant interrupt. Now, our Death Knight wasn't there, but you can see here the mages interrupts on cooldown, the shamans on cooldown, the warriors on cooldown, and I'm on cooldown. So we are literally doing everything in our power. Now, if we had the Death Knight there, his interrupt could be on cooldown, which would stop that Gigawop that I think is fixing to go off. But you just keep them out of the group, and then you've got the Gigawop. Now, depending on your group, the Gigawops can go off as needed to make sure that you're interrupting the tune-ups. Like, see, we got one of the tune-ups, and then yeah, we were trying to help that Death Knight in the chat box, so we missed like 3 or 4 interrupts, and then I missed a move period, and it got rough. And we kind of just focused on the Void Emissary, so we weren't too worried about the other ads. We were just cleaving and doing what they did. But yeah, we were trying to help. So we did miss, like you can see, all of our interrupts stopped going on cooldown. So we missed the interrupts just because we were trying to help that Death Knight like get through. We're like, dude, come on, you got this. Like it's all good. You know, nobody's mad. All right, so then you go straight into this boss. Okay, so this boss is actually really, really simple. He's gonna do some like AOE ground effects and stuff. Don't stand in those. You got the flying blades going around. There's pretty simple. But what you want to do is stay out of the blue, and then you want to kill the ads. All right, kill those ads as fast as possible. Like you should shift all of your DPS straight onto the ads as soon as they populate. Now, these little flame blades, they're gonna pop out. Let's see if I can get it. See if I can get a better angle on this one. All right, so okay, so you see these little like fire things and the red lines on the ground. That is where they're gonna spawn. So it's gonna spin in circles. So stay away from that. All right, don't stand in those. All right, it becomes fire. If you're a Death Knight, you can anti-magic shield and you don't get hit by the fire at all. Just don't pop it too early, otherwise it'll wear off and you have to run anyways. I've done that a couple of times. But like basically all you're gonna do on this boss, you're just gonna basically avoid everything that's flying around the room. And then you're going to oh AMZ. Wait, why did I throw AMZ down? I think I threw the AMZ down just to kind of just help with a little bit of damage, help the healer out. I really don't know. I don't think there's any major reason to throw AMZ down. But then we got the ad. See, that word just blasted that ad, dude. Like, absolutely annihilated. But then, yep, you see our red lines coming out. I popped my AMZ a little bit too early. Is this the one where I had to run? Yeah, so like I popped it too early, which meant it wore off before the second beam got there, so I actually had to be a little bit concerned. All right, so you can't pop it too early, but you can't pop it too late because it can only absorb the incoming damage, not the damage going out. Yeah, at this point, I just kind of pulled up my tab because I was trying to check my stats and see like what was going on. I do that a lot. Like I just go through the rinse and repeat mechanic so many times, and I just start doing something else. That's the ADHD in me. All right, so after this, all right, let's go ahead and skip forward. All right, so we're gonna grab this guy, and literally as the tank, all you want to do is you just want to kite him forward. Just keep him coming, keep aggro on him. Like I was throwing my taunts, and you want to pull this guy. You want to pull both of these guys because like they don't do a whole lot. They throw some AoE out, like it's group wide damage, and then like you can just cleave onto the other one, and it's pretty simple. Okay, so we did not have it, as you can see. Oh wait, why is my mouse going crazy? All right, so as you can see, like we didn't have a warlock or a rogue to do the skip. I don't know if rogues can actually do the skip or not, to be honest with you. So when we got to this next platform, the way that I did it, we rode across, and I pulled this group, and then I pulled these two guys here. All right, and I popped my A-bomb limb, and I kind of moved back so I could get everybody grouped up. All right, so the way that I personally do this, all right, I kite back down, right? So I'll kite down for usually 2 shields, and then I go back up, start working up the ramp. The other option that I do is if like we're on top of interrupts and stuff, like this group, I don't think I had to move more than like once. But yeah, AMZ and AMS will help on these ads just because it is all magic damage and like the casts that go off and everything, like you'll help your hero out a lot. But yeah, see, we didn't have a need to move it, but usually like I'll come down once or twice, and then or I go down twice, and then I'm just always coming up the ramp, right? So then the Void Emissary pops out, so I think we just killed the Void Emissary. Did I pull him into that group? Yes, I did. All right, so they're taking care of the Void Emissary, so I'm pulling these guys and I'm coming back down the stairs. Now, the reason why I come down the stairs, one, it creates an LOS for the Tinkertons. All right, makes them a little bit easier. Okay, so we got the squirrels, and I kind of got forced back upstairs. But what I like to do is I like to kite these guys down the ramp because you have so much more room to work with, and it's so much easier to deal with things. If you're able to run down, I ran up because I already had a shield at there, and then I mean we were also like giga pumping on this. And then it's just the same thing. Like Workshop Defender has got to die first. All right, like in this group, like cleave onto the defense bots, kill the defender because he's gonna do the tune up, and then you're trying to cycle and do a rotation. Um, get like an interrupt rotation going when you really don't need it. If you just priority target that defender with cleave onto the defense bots, then you can take him down, and then it becomes a tank responsibility for that interrupt. So you take out the whole rotation for it and everything, and your tank can survive these defense spots pretty easily. Like there's not a whole lot. So now we're gonna kill the Void Emissary. We got the ads down, and you can see our mage is already marking like where he wants me to tank the boss. So I remarked in the center of the room just because it's easier for me to tank this guy in the center of the room than it is anything else. Because generally speaking, those little mine things are gonna go. All right, so phase one of this boss. All right, there is really 3 things to worry about. First thing is going to be, let me pause this. So firstly, you're going to worry about these little bots. They're going to point an arrow in a direction. They're going to mark a spot on the ground. That's where they're going. You don't know which is going where, so you have to get out of the way of all of the arrows and don't trust it. All right, so a lot of times what I see ranged players doing is they're playing around these outside edges, and then the healers are usually out there with them, or at the mid-ranged area. I've seen some healers go to mid-range. I've seen some go to the outside edges. It just kind of depends on like a personal preference. And the next thing you have to worry about is he's going to do a frontal. It's going to target a player. You just have to make sure that it is aimed away from everybody else. And once it gets aimed away from everybody else has to stay out of it. Now, next up is going to be his flying. He's going to mark a player and he's going to fly. See, yep, there they go. So we all kind of get out of their way. And then you have to navigate around them. They'll basically do a knock up and some damage to you. Yeah, I had a really bad issue with like throwing those. Okay, so he does that little orange circle around him. I put the death and decay down because I was trying to slow him down. See how he's targeting that one player? That one player is responsible for running away. And that's pretty much the entirety of phase one. All right. Now, after phase one is complete, we're going to go into here. We'll just watch this last little kill, and then you'll see what happens. All right, so now 3%, 2%, 1%. Okay, so he's going to stun everybody for 8 seconds. He's going to open this door back here. He's going to jump down, and he's going to come back up as a big old mechanical being. All right, so I'll go over his mechanics in a minute. All right, so I have used this strategy pretty much every time I've been in this dungeon. The tank is usually going to go to this left-hand side over here. The melee DPS or melee healer are all going to be on the right side of the, or no, I'm sorry. Melee DPS are going to go over here, and then the healer is going to kind of stay in the middle if they have to be if they're a melee healer, so like paladins, monks. I think those are the only two melee healers. But you're going to kind of stay in this middle area right here, all right? And then your range is going to kind of take up position, preferably on this right-hand side over here, but pretty much anywhere back here is where you want your melee or your range to be. Now, he's going to start attacking and he's going to hit the tank. He's going to do his normal melee damage, whatever, mitigations. All right, we're still going to be avoiding these little things. It just gets harder because, you know, whatever. All right, so you can see they're still bouncing around. They're going to force you to move, but there is a huge area where you can still hit this boss. It's pretty much all across here from like doorway to doorway. All right, so we're still avoiding that. And then his frontal mechanic is the same. All right, so you're still wanting to aim that away from everybody. All right, you can see, yep, I had to move out and then back in. So that is the other thing. You can move out and then you can move back in. You can move left and you can move right. You can move like however you need to. But ranged and healers are going to take up the middle area for that frontal. Okay. Melee DPS, y'all are going to take up this right half side over here for the frontal. And then the tank is going to take up the left side. Now, the reason why you do this is because it guarantees that nobody's going to get hit twice or nobody's going to be in the path of the frontal. All right. So essentially, yep, you see I had to move because we got the Void Emissary, so I kind of had to move, I had to rearrange my positioning. Basically, the reason why you're doing that is because the melee DPS can cross over from this right side. They can cross over to the middle with the healer, let the frontal go off, and then they can move back. And then the tank kind of has free range to do what he needs to do as he needs to do it. He's got that entire left side of the room completely open for however he has to move. All right. And then the middle area is for the healer and the ranged because they're the only two. So the healer, assuming, let's say, you know, we had a monk, that healer can jump over to the left side and make sure priority healing is going to me. They can jump over to the right side, put priority target healing on the DPS, however it needs to go. All right, so that is pretty much that. All right, and then phase 3 of the fight is he just lands and he has no threat table. He has no aggro table. You cannot get aggro on him. He's just going to kind of fixate on a target and you just have to kill him. Does not take long, about like, yeah, maybe like 3 seconds and we had him down. And that was it. That is the end of Mechagon Workshop. So that's kind of like how this is going to go. It's the way that things are looking now. In all honesty, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like this, you want to see more of this content, go ahead, like, subscribe. Again, a very super simple dungeon that a lot of people, I think, overcomplicate, overthink. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah. Catch y'all in the next one.